As well, as part of being a medical student, I know that I'm not expected to know everything, okay? Because medical knowledge is increasing in breadth and depth at an alarming rate. The current Oxford textbook of medicine runs at 3 volumes and is over 10,000 pages long. I'm not going to memorise that for my finals, and I'm sorry, it just won't happen. But there are medical students who believe that that's what they need to do. That's incredibly dangerous because it's impossible. And many of them actually develop serious psychological problems with anxiety, depression, and some even end up needing to take medication before their exams because they're so worried about screwing them up. If you mess up your exams, it's probably a good idea that you weren't medicated at the time. That's just my opinion. Because again, they're so scared of failing. Now, I know I'm going into a high-stress, high-responsibility job in August this year, and I'm scared of it. To be honest, I'm petrified. But I think that's only natural. I know what, through usage, I've got the personal and social skills I need to succeed because I can ask for help. I can go, yeah, no idea what's going on with this chap. Please come and have a look at him before something goes wrong. And I think that's honestly because I went to a youth theatre of exceptional quality. I know I'm going to need help. I'm going to ask for it time and time again in those first couple of weeks. And I know I'm going to be in some situations where I'm out of my depth. That's important to know as well, because there are some because they try and instill that to you in medical school. Some of our exam questions, the answers, and these are legitimate answers, are I would now seek the help of my seniors, or I would consult a book. You wouldn't necessarily get that in many other exams, I don't think. The number of students who miss those as answers and who try and do something that's at postgraduate level, like, I don't know, trying to remove a clot from a heart on their own when they've never done it before, is only in simulation, by the way, only in simulation. Are so scared because they aren't competent that they'll be seen as a failure for trying. Now, obviously, behaviour like that on the wards, going, well, I've never done this before, but I don't want to call my boss for fear of looking like an idiot, is incredibly dangerous, because there are serious consequences to what I'm going to end up doing. Going back to my point slightly, this is why I believe that every child should be encouraged to try, to strive, and to learn how to fail, and to learn that the consequences of failure, generally speaking, aren't so bad, especially when you're a young person. The consequences of not teaching young people this is that you disempower the individual. They feel that they can make no difference to their life or the lives of anyone else. They don't achieve their potential. Now, this is obviously an integral part of the government's Every Child Matters strategy, which aims to allow every child to be healthy, stay safe, enjoy and achieve, make a positive contribution, and I don't really understand achieve economic well-being, but I'm sure it's important. Youth theatre directly allows children to enjoy and achieve and make a positive contribution to themselves. I think that's obvious. Being happy and being confident and having friends and feeling that you belong and are accepted in a group is incredibly important to their mental health as well. Being able to be listened to and expressing your opinions in a medium that's creative and ultimately applauded, again, is fantastic for young people's mental health. Youth theatre offers a ready-made window to allow young people to access what McMaster called excellent cultural experiences. Now, I'm not sure if any of you are aware of the McMaster report. I read it a couple of times a few weeks ago. It's quite dense. But I'd like to quote you his definition of excellence, because I think it's important. The best definition of excellence I've heard is that excellence in culture occurs when an experience affects and changes an individual. An excellent cultural experience goes to the root of living. I think youth theatre, by this definition, is an excellent cultural experience, so we don't have to have the debate, we can all go home. It teaches young people that it teaches young people that lessons in schools, it teaches the lessons that you don't necessarily get in schools, and sometimes you don't get from your families either, depending on your background. And they're not lessons, like Jill said, about staging, performance, being artistic. They're about inclusion, they're about empathy, they're about teamwork, and they're about how the world actually works. And in this world where young people are examined at 7, 9, 11, 14, 16, 17 and 18, they're in an environment where they can't feel totally safe enough to experiment and to try and explore the world in their own way and in their own time. They can't be seen to be unsure, inexperienced, or unable to perform in any of the fields that they wish to perform well in because of this fear of failure. It saps their confidence, it stresses them out, and it directly disempowers them. Youth theatre fosters an environment where trying new ideas is encouraged, and where inclusion is the norm, and is more important than any raw talent. Where a young person can explore the world that's opening up around them in safety, in their own way, with their friends. It builds confidence. I hope I've shown you that it improves communication skills as well. And it teaches young people to empathise, skills that are wholly transferable to any field of work, but were particularly transferable to where I'm going. Because if any of you have had a doctor that hasn't been able to empathise, it's been a painful experience sometimes. Youth theatre empowers young people, and it lets them realise that their ideas matter, that their opinions count, and that they can make a difference. Now, I was never going to be a performer, a director, or a writer, but the lessons I've learned and the people I've met during my time in youth theatre have literally enabled me to do what I'm doing now and what I did as a teenager. Youth theatre can and does change young people's lives. It goes to the root of their living. Ask any youth theatre practitioner here today and they'll be able to tell you almost exactly the same story of a frightened, unconfident child that they saw come to a first session and carried on coming and became a completely different, confident individual who was able to go on and do whatever it was that they wanted. That's why I believe that youth theatre is an incredibly powerful tool, because it empowers young people and it makes them realise that they matter.